Coverage of the 109th Indianapolis 500 is brought to you by Qapital. Welcome to Carb Day here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, one of the biggest crowds I've ever seen for Carb Day. It's absolutely unbelievable, and what's more unbelievable, I've thanked you guys a couple of times for this, but I really want to thank you when we're at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway at a practice day, and on Carb Day, we hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. We crossed over that milestone this week. Absolutely unbelievable. There would be no David Land without you. You guys are the you in YouTube. You guys are absolutely the best. I mean, absolutely the best. I love you guys so much. I would not be here without you, able to cover the Indianapolis 500 in this way. So, and if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe, go down, leave a like on the video. It's all free, it all helps me out so much, and you guys have helped me out so much today. So today was Carb Day, and if you don't know, Carb Day stands for what used to be Carburation Day. These engines used to have carburetors on them, and you used to have to carburate them before the Indianapolis 500. Obviously, we don't have carburetors on the cars anymore. They're fuel injection cars with hybrids on them, but the name is stuck. The final 2 hours of practice for the Indianapolis 500 before these cars roll onto the grid for racing on Sunday. I've got a ton of thoughts. I've got a bunch of things that I have been thinking about, and as you guys know, I am an overthinker. So there's going to be a lot of overthinking in this video galore. I'll put it that way. So we did have some incidents today that we're going to knock out before we get to the results, because the results aren't as important as what the cars look like in traffic today. But Graham Rahal reported as an engine failure on the radio. Graham Rahal had to oil the track down. It looked like the car slowed, smoke at the back of it. It was reported on the radio by Graham that it was an engine. If we get any update on that, we'll let you know. But certainly the reliability, the mechanical reliability, started to show its head today. That's not very good for Graham Rahal. You got to wonder where the engine's going to come from. And you also start to think about Honda's decision to change the engines on Friday rather than after qualifying. Will that begin to rear its head rear its head in the race? That's going to be another question mark, I think. The Chevys, perhaps with more fresh bullets. Alexander Rossi only turned 5 laps today in practice, the final practice for the Indy 500. One of the drivers that we thought was going to have a good shot at the top 10. My understanding from Chevrolet is that it was a water pump failure. The parts are on the ground. They are replacing that, but Rossi only was able to complete 5 laps in the final practice session of 2 hours for the Indianapolis 500. That's a little bit of a setback for one of the drivers at the front of the field. Ryan Hunter-Reay had a very scary fire. The car caught on fire coming right out of the pits. He drove it all the way around, got it to a stop, but it went up pretty spectacularly. Now, I wasn't able to confirm, I did ask what the issue was, wasn't able to confirm it, but here's what I can tell you. If you look back to Thermal Club of a couple of races ago, Robert Schwartzman had a very similar looking fire, and that was determined to be a hybrid failure at that time, a hybrid fire. So I don't want to 100% say it was a hybrid catching on fire, but that's sure what it looked like with Ryan Hunter-Reay. And here's the issue. Robert Schwartzman, and I know it was a much shorter turnaround at Thermal, but Robert Schwartzman had to go to a backup car. Will Ryan Hunter-Reay have to go to a backup car for this year's Indianapolis 500? You hope not for the Small Dryer and Reinbold racing team. And Takuma Sato had a tow-in. I believe they ran him out of fuel. That was not any kind of a mechanical failure, engine, hybrid, none of that. As one of the front-running cars in the race, sometimes you want to see how much fuel you can get in and out of that machine. And Takuma Sato was able to do that.
Just like the Indy 500 isn't won in a single lap, building wealth takes strategy and the right team. With Qapital's automated savings tools, you'll navigate every turn of your money journey and race towards your goals faster. Whether you're saving for a new car, vacation, or building an emergency fund, Qapital puts money management strategies in your pocket. Download Qapital today at qapital.com/DavidLand. That's QAPITAL.com/DavidLand.
So let's take a look at the Fast 6 of today. We only need to look at the top 6. Really, no tow times or any of that doesn't matter all that much today. But what does matter is that the fastest today at 225.6 miles an hour was Josef Newgarden, the twice defending Indianapolis 500 champion. We've got much more to say about him, and I'll be honest, guys, he looks like he may have a very good shot at his third Indianapolis 500, coming from the 32nd starting position after that extended penalty after the qualifying. Takuma Sato, second fastest. That car is still very, very fast. I think they were taking care of it today. Takuma not necessarily running in the pack, although he did have a very exciting pass around the outside of Rinus VK at one point during the practice. But Takuma Sato, very, very much legit. We'll see what he can do in the race conditions. Scott Dixon still looking for his second Indianapolis 500 in the third spot today at 225.2. Devlin DeFrancesco, the Rahal car, showing a lot of speed. The 30 car's been up there as well, and it's Devlin up into the fast six today. The first time I believe he's cracked the top six in practice all month long. This is the time to do it. Will Power will also be coming from the back row. He starts in 33rd position, did 224.4 miles per hour today, did a lot of traffic running, did Will Power. He's going to have to do that in the race as well. And Felix Rosenqvist really didn't use his car all that much, I'll be honest. He just kind of hung at the back of the pack, got some laps in, but didn't really go above and beyond, I feel like. Felix Rosenqvist, I think, has got a very strong car for tomorrow or for Sunday, but he, I think, feels like he doesn't need to go above and beyond showing it yet. So let's go a little bit deeper into those results from today and, you know, what I observed with my own two eyeballs. And I think Josef Newgarden's got a really, really, really strong car. And I understand no driver has ever won the Indianapolis 500 from the last row. Josef Newgarden would be the first. He would also make history as the first driver to win 3 Indianapolis 500s in a row, but the facts are the facts. And I'm really struggling to overcome those facts. And those facts are what is telling me right now that Josef Newgarden has an extremely fast car, extremely effective in traffic, and looks good at the front of the field. And Kyle pointed out to me, rightfully so, watching from the driver's eye cam, which is a new innovation that Fox Sports has brought to the Indianapolis 500. Not a new innovation, but an innovation that needed to never leave to the Indianapolis 500 coverage. You can just watch his hands. And that's what I really, it's something you need to really look for with drivers. Just confident, just very purposeful movements. That means that Josef Newgarden is happy. And if Josef Newgarden is happy with his race car, watch out, because he's pissed off otherwise about how much crap he's been getting over all of this, push-to-pass gate and attenuator gate and all of this stuff. You don't think that's war on that guy a little bit? You saw what push-to-pass gate did last year for Josef Newgarden and his desire to win this race. That's going to be another desire for Josef today. The further we go on, the more I think that Josef Newgarden is going to win the Indianapolis 500 from the back row of the grid. Let's talk about a few of the other favorites. Alex Palou didn't quite look as strong today as he has in the past. One point in particular looked like Josef and Palou were kind of together, and Josef could just motor around traffic. Palou could not. Now, granted, maybe Ganassi has Palou set up to run at the front of the field, and of course Josef not necessarily set up that way, starting in 32nd. And there's also the possibility that Ganassi's pulling a fast one on us, the old 2022, which would be a little bit of sandbags coming out. They've done that before. We know the Ganassi cars are strong. They will be strong in the race. There's no doubt about it. But I don't know. I wasn't as impressed with Palou as I thought I would be today. I thought he was going to show his hand, and if he did show his hand, it's not a flush. Still got a little ways to go. Robert Schwartzman, they packed the downforce on his car. He was talking about that on the radio. I went and looked at his car in the garage this morning. Definitely some wicker bills, a lot of rear wing rake in it. They set him up very, very safe. There's no doubt about it. He looked decent today. I won't lie. He looked better in traffic. That car is still a rocket ship, by the way. He was one of the few drivers who could keep Josef Newgarden behind him when Josef Newgarden was coming through the field. As time goes on, and the more I see of him, the more I think Robert Schwartzman will be a factor in this race. How much of a factor, I'm not sure. And of course, the pit stops are going to be the most difficult thing. I think there's a chance. There's so much talk about the start. With a rookie pole sitter bringing the field down for the first time since 1996, the first time a rookie has qualified on the pole since 1983. There's always that kind of discussion about what it's going to be like. And of course, with the kind of combustible elements of Sato and Pato on the front row, what's that going to look like? I think there's a chance that Schwartzman gets into the first corner first. And if he does that, I think if you look at the previous Indianapolis 500s, when there's been a driver that maybe others don't trust as much, they kind of let them lead. And I think if I'm Robert Schwartzman, one of my 3D guys, Matt, brought this up to me, the Schwartzman strategy might actually be the Simon Pagenaud strategy of about 6 years ago, where Simon Pagenaud just said, screw the fuel saving, I'm going to lead this race, and I'm going to win it on pace. Maybe that's the way that Robert Schwartzman can get up in front, stay at the front, and win this race. That would be the only strategy, and I think that's a confidence-building thing, too, for Robert Schwartzman, if he can do that. We'll see. I think the start is going to be absolutely freaking spectacular, one way or the other. I want to mention a few more names. Pato O'Ward, I still think he is probably outside of Alex Palou, because you just can never count against Alex Palou. I think Pato O'Ward, starting on that front row spot with a terrible car last year, finished second. You can't look past that. And I think Pato didn't really put his car at risk very much today. So I think there's a very good chance that Pato O'Ward ends up in victory circle on Sunday. Scott Dixon, he's another driver that I think has a really good shot. As good of a shot as he always has. The problem is Scott Dixon always ends up in bad luck situations. What bad luck will befall Dixon tomorrow or 2 days from now? Takuma Sato, still very fast. We know that. As fast as Josef Newgarden over single lap speed. He's never lost the race when he started in the first 2 rows. He starts in the first 2 rows on Sunday. So I think Takuma Sato, absolutely. If you're counting out Takuma Sato, I've got another story for you. Felix Rosenqvist took care of his car today, didn't take any risks. I think the Meyer-Shank Racing team is quietly confident, and I think Helio Castroneves, if he can get to the front, might be a factor as well. And Connor Daly, Connor is a guy that I've kind of looked at as a dark horse pretty much ever since I knew he was stepping into that car, because with what Agustin Canapino was able to do in that car last year, and the fact that Connor's a better super speedway racer than Canapino ever was, you think about Connor, but Connor didn't like his car so much today. He said it felt like a parachute, lots of drag. With cool conditions both today and expected on Sunday, you're not going to want a lot of drag in your car. You're going to want to trim out if you can win the Indianapolis 500. How much you trim out and will you go over it? I think that's going to be a factor as well. Reliability, tires. You talk about the tires. The tire life has been a lot different with the added weight to the machines. I think the field is going to be very tightly bunched at the beginning of stints, but as the stints go on and the handling characteristics of the cars begin to separate out, you'll see the field separate out as well. So the tire wear, going to be very interesting. It's going to be an exciting race, guys. There's no doubt in my mind that we're in for a very exciting Indianapolis 500, especially with the temperature going to be the way that it is. The unpredictable arrangement of the field, one of the most mixed up field speeds-wise we've ever seen. I can't wait for it. Gutswear sponsored our history segments. We've got a good one today, but we've got something even better for you today. We've got merch. And this is available on gutswear.com as well as at the Gutswear trailer at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Established 1993. That's when I was born. We put a 93 logo on the shirt. This is the back of the shirt. Then we've also got the David Land logo on the front. So if you want to buy a David Land shirt, you can go online. You can also go to the Gutswear trailer here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We thank Gutswear so much for doing our t-shirts this year, as well as sponsoring our history segment, and it's a good one. Robert Schwartzman is the 3rd rookie pole sitter to qualify in that position in history. We wanted to talk about the history of those rookie pole sitters.
As of today, in 109 runnings, only 3 rookie drivers have ever claimed the pole position at Indy. It has been 42 years since the last time, with Teo Fabi in 1983. Before that, it was 1950, Walt Faulkner, and now Robert Schwartzman. That's the list. So why is it so difficult for first-timers? After all, 9 rookies have won the race. But all the variables and risks of racing are condensed and compounded in qualifying. First of all, the cars are on the knife edge of grip. The cars traveling at their terminal velocity. Every aspect of the setup is to be at the maximum possible speed, flat out, and then add the 4-lap factor. It is the longest qual run a driver will make all year, the standard format being 1 or 2 laps. Lastly, the 2.5 miles are the fastest track on the circuit. It's a strain, a stress on the car and driver that is unmatched in racing. In recent years, the changes to the format have only added pressure with the Fast 12 and then Fast 6 shootouts. To win the pole, you must run a minimum of 3 qualification attempts. The last to do it was also an experienced road racer like Schwartzman. Teo Fabi had won races in Formula 3 and Formula 2 as well as Can-Am, so the oval discipline was relatively new. Entering his first 500 at the ripe old age of 28, Fabi had only completed 41 laps on an oval at the Atlanta season opener before a suspension failure eliminated him. He qualified 9th for that event, but one advantage Fabi had was a team with moderate experience. Forsyth Racing had run a partial season over the year previous, running 2 cars at Indy and later collecting a win and a top 3 at the Atlanta Oval. Despite his lack of experience, Fabi broke Rick Mears's 1-year-old pole record with a 4-lap average of 207.395 miles per hour. His adaptation to Indy was shocking, but it wasn't a fluke. Fabi was in command of the race for the first stint, leading 23 laps comfortably. He stayed in contention until his second pit stop when the crew had trouble fueling, broke a fuel Buckeye seal, and ended his day. Going all the way back to 1950, Walt Faulkner became the first rookie to qualify in the pole position with an average speed of 134.343 miles per hour. The 32-year-old Texan began racing motorcycles as a teenager, then turned to dirt racing. However, the Indy 500 was his first championship big car race ever. He didn't lead a lap, however, ran a steady race to 7th place. His oval racing prowess was proven the rest of the season with a win at Milwaukee and 9 top 10s, only finishing outside of the top 10 once. Now, you might be questioning why Tony Stewart's start from the pole position in 1996 isn't on this list. Well, simply put, Tony Stewart qualified second. After the true pole sitter, Scott Brayton, tragically passed away in a practice crash, they moved a substitute car and driver to the back of the field, bumping the other 32 starters up 1 starting position and granting the first place to Stewart. As far as the inaugural running in 1911, where technically every starter was a rookie, qualifying was not the same format. Positions were assigned by the date the entry was submitted, and each car was required to make a run showing a sustained minimum speed of 75 miles per hour down the front straight. So there you have it, 109 years of history and only 3 rookie pole winners. Perhaps this is the intersect of fortune favoring the bold and ignorance is bliss, or has the old speedway revealed the talents of a future star? One thing is certain, their names will forever be in the history books, leading the field of 33 to the green flag in the greatest spectacle in racing.
And so as we sign off from Carb Day here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, we will have an Indy 500 preview video tomorrow. We're really looking forward to that. We've got some really cool things coming. In fact, I asked all of the drivers of the, or at least as many of the drivers as I could, where the pass for the win's going to happen. It'll be interesting to see who is right. And I guess I'll give my final prediction tomorrow, so you'll want to tune in for that. Thank you guys so much for watching from, again, one of the most packed Carb days I've ever seen at the Indy 500. This has been David Land. Oh yeah, congratulations to Slaw Dog for winning the Weenie Hut Junior 500. We'll see you in the next video.